This episode starts out with Pope at the beach. He's still having trouble coping with Smurf's death. And he goes to, they're holding church at the beach where they're baptizing people and they're also having a service. And he bumps into one of his friends that he just got out of jail, and he offered his condolence about Angela. So this is the first time that Pope is finding out about Angela dying. He finds out that she got beat up, beaten to death. And this basically is going to start him to spiral even more out of control. Now, Darren gets a phone call from Pamela Johnson, and she wants to meet with them at the house. And Craig tells Ren about it, and she tells him about being offered a position to do real estate, and he thinks it's a good idea because this will get her out of the drug game. Craig really doesn't want her in that life anymore. He wants her to raise the baby right. Then they go to a flashback with Smurf, Pope, and Julie at the diner and they overhear a couple of police officers talking about prostitutes and how they're having affairs with them. And the waitress basically tells them, she tells the waitress because they don't tip, and she basically feels sorry for one of the police officers, which is Jerry. His wife just left him and his mom has cancer. So Smurf looks at this as a way in for her. Now, Jay and Darren are waiting at the house, and Craig comes because they're about to meet with Pamela Johnson. And he's not feeling it, Craig. So Pamela Johnson pulls up with her son Phoenix and her granddaughter Lark. Jay, Darren, and Cody not feeling this. Pamela Johnson touring the house and basically staking her claim in the property. Now she sees Jay, and Jay says that he's Smurf's grandson, and she finds out that's Julie's son. So she asks about Julie and finds out Julie's dead. And they basically want to work out a deal. Pamela Johnson sees Pope. And she says, "You remember me? I'm Auntie Birdie." And Craig is really shocked that he knows them. He knows them. He remembers how Phoenix used to babysit him when he was little. So he remembers them, but he's kind of off. So it is what it is. Now, they want the Cody boys to do a job. They want him to steal a safe out of the skateboard park, that indoor skateboard park. In the meantime, now Pamela Johnson speaks to Pope, and Pope tells her that our mother didn't care about any of us, especially Julie, because then when she found out about Julie and how she died. Darren at this point wants to do the job. He wants to do the job, and he's ready to go scout out the place. So him and Jay is going to go scout out the place and meet up with Phoenix. Now Smurf done had put these kids on this job with them, where they're acting like they lost their ticket from the valet to get a car. And this is one of the hotels that the police officers go to meet with their prostitutes. So they take the car. The kids is in on it. They got their little lines to say and everything. And they take the car. Now, Pope is on a mission. Pope is on a mission to find this person that has something to do with Angela's death. So he's looking for Shane. He sees Shane. He goes after Shane. And it's on Shane, he on Shane's tail. He beats down Shane. He beats him up pretty bad, but he don't kill him, but he beat his ass though. And now the Cody boys go to scout out the skating indoor skate park that Phoenix told them about where they need to get the safe from. Ironically, Phoenix works at this park. So this is a complicated deal for them. They didn't want to get anybody in their inner circle to do the job. So the Codys was perfect for this. So they're basically scoping out the place. It's a busy place. Kids live in there because it's a safe haven for them. So they're trying to navigate how they're going to do this job. Meantime, Smurf is on a mission. She got the kids in the back of the car and she's driving this Firebird. Like, and she don't got no. She's driving this. I think it's a Trans Am or a five. It's a Trans Am, I think. But she's driving this car like it ain't nobody's business. If anybody knows, it is a Trans Am. I was gonna say if y'all don't know if it's a Trans Am, just put it in the comments so I could be right about it. But she's just having a time of her life driving this car. Driving right past the police officer. And guess who the police officer is? Jerry. You got it. Now, Jerry, he goes in pursuit of them. But this is exactly what Smurf wanted. She gets to talk to him. And this is the Jerry that's been in her pocket for years. This is how she meets Jerry. And this is the beginning of her building her empire even more. Because now you got a cop on the take. So that's how she got away with stuff for so many years. Jerry. Now Craig goes to meet with Frankie. Because they don't have any money. So they need to fence some of Smurf's jewelry because they running low on cash. All the credit cards are shut down. All the bank cards are shut down. So they have no real money right now. Because remember, they still ain't get rid of that coke yet. So now they got this gold. The guy says, just give me a couple of days and I'll get back to you. Now, him and Frankie used to have a thing. And I think once she beat him out of that money, he stopped messing with her. And then, Ren got pregnant, and then that was the end of that. So now, it looks like they're going to start messing around again, okay? So now it's going to be a little triangle thing going on here, y'all. So Jay, Darren, and Craig decide to do this job. Now, Craig is, like, wondering why. Jay explains, we have to at this point because we have no money. Darren and Jay get into it again over him. He wants him to sell his co-op for a lesser amount. And Jay was like, well, why don't you rent out your house? Because you're not staying in it anyway. You're living at the bar. And Craig don't care. He don't want to have nothing to do with all of that. Meantime, Pope comes back. And he's packing his stuff. He's getting ready to get out of there. And Darren comes in. And he's like, I gotta leave. And he's like, wait, we got this job to do. We need you. And he's like, I can't do this right now. And he's talking to him. He sees the blood on his arm. And he's like, well, what happened? What did you do? And he doesn't tell him. But he tells him he has to get out of there because he sees Smurf and hears her everywhere. And he's having blackouts. Now we go back to Smurf in the flashback. And she gives young Pope and Julie $1 for their job. She said, you did a job, you got paid. So they all happy. They go to the store. And Jake says, I think that's a bad idea. Now, Craig goes back and tells Ren about the job. Jay is sitting there going through his co-op. I think he's thinking about lowering the price. And in comes Darren with a bag. He puts his house up for rent out. And the look on Jay's face is priceless because basically he has them right where he wants them. And I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what is he orchestrating. because everything's playing out in his favor. And they don't want to follow him. But it seems like they have to at this point, because everything is in. He's the only person that got stuff in his name. Everything was in Smurf's name. They have no leverage right now.